Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trek Canon. So, today I wanted to talk about Season 2, Episode 2 of Star Trek Lower Decks, Kayshawn, His Eyes Open. Now, before I begin, I just wanted to let you guys know that I really wanted to find my Starfleet captain's uniform, put it on because any current Star Trek that made me happy that just tickled my fancy that I would put on a Star Trek uniform when I give the review. And for the likes of me, I can't figure out where it went. I think somebody playing a practical joke on me. But that should let you know right off the bat that I thought this episode was outstanding. And let's get right into it. There were so many Easter eggs and homages and tributes that was in this episode that even I had to pause it. Okay. I mean, like, even I had to pause and be like, hey, is that okay? So, again, this is one of my bootleg videos, which means that I didn't really put too much together. I just wrote down stuff that I seen or that I wanted to kind of touch on so I wouldn't forget when I was making this video. So it's not going to be like I said, knowing my cool graphics. People who have been with me for a while know what I mean when I say my bootleg videos. So let's get right into the episode. So like I said, the episode season 2, episode 2, Kayshawn, His Eyes Open. So an overview of the episode without giving too much away. So for people who don't like spoilers, y'all new to my channel, sometimes spoilers slip with me. So you might want to stop or pause the video, watch the episode, and then come back and continue the video. So the overview of the episode basically is that they're called in by a collector, right? And we know of the collectors in canon due to the episode "The Most Toys," where the collector Kivas Farjo, I believe it was, decided that he wanted to kidnap Data and add him to his collection. Now, we also met one other guild member in that episode. I forget what his name was, but we understood that there is a collector's guild. Now, in this particular episode, a collector contacts the Cerritos to basically ask them for assistance because in inspecting this new ship that he's just collected from a collector who had died. Now, that's the main story. Now, there are some other sub stories that go along with that. That's adjacent to that. And one of them is how Boimler's doing on the Titan. And the other one is the addition of a security chief who happens to be Tamarian, and the addition of a new ensign in the lower decks that tries to befriend the group. Now, I'll touch a little bit on each one of these scenarios and give little Easter eggs that I found in each one of them. Now, but basically, that's the setup. So, for those of you, like I said, who don't know what a Tamarian is, a Tamarian is a species that was first introduced into canon and only introduced one time in canon in the episode Darmok, one of my favorite The Next Generation episodes, okay? And they speak in metaphor. So in that particular episode, Captain Picard has spent this time on a planet with the captain of the Tamarian ship, basically against the Beast of Tanagra, to figure out how to negate the dialogue issue. So in this episode, it was really cool how they set the security chief up with how they set Kayshawn up with having a universal translator that was glitching because he'll say a sentence or he'll say a phrase or something in Tamarian or in English, and we'll get a chance to hear what the translation of it is for the opposite language. So that was really cool how they did that. Now, the Titan fighting pack leads. I'm gonna tell you that anytime a pack lead is anywhere on screen, I get a kick out the pack leads. Back in high school, when they first showed the pack leads, I think it was in a season 1 episode of The Next Generation, where they kidnapped Geordi. Excuse me, my earpiece tripping. But uh, their phrase was they pack lead phrase was always, "We look for things that make us go." And it was a little basically a little trope that we used to have back in high school that me and my homies who used to watch Star Trek or into sci-fi knew about, that if we found somebody who was a little bit low on the intelligence scale, we'll always be like, point at them, be like, we look for things, and then we'll all have our little inside joke about, yeah, it's kind of stupid, but that was because that was back in the high school days. Don't judge me. Everybody did things in high school that was saying stuff in high school they ain't proud about and don't want to tell their kids and the general public about. Anyway, so um, if they would have look, one of the funniest moments in that episode to me, it was many of them, but one of the funniest moments in that episode to me was when the pack lads, it was a group of pack lads behind his blast door, right? And he had this circular saw, and one of the pack lads was like, hit the door with the saw, and the pack lad was like, I'm gonna hit the door with the saw, and just start banging the saw up against the door, man. It ain't on nothing, man. He just start banging. Look, I got a kick out of that. So, um, I don't know if you guys noticed, but when they first came aboard the collector's ship, and were cleared to start the investigation into the items, you'll notice that Tilly put, I think that's her name, the Orion. She put this headset on this mannequin head bust. Okay, and if you look closely, and for those of you who have small TVs, you have to look closely, but people with bigger TVs, you just see it. It was the glasses from the episode The Game and the Next Generation. Okay, I'm not gonna really tell you, but that was nice that they drew those and put those in there. Why she would be using them as a scanning equipment for that, I don't know. But those were in there. Where the collector not reference to the cyborg. Excuse me. He was like, hey, I basically have a top notch menagerie that I could put you in, and that was a cool reference because I wonder if he has a Telosian back there somewhere that he's also collected. Nah, you ain't gonna collect a Telosian. Anyway, that he somehow got back there working with him or something that could put him in some kind of mind state to where he would be fine being displayed. It's kind of cool. Now, the K-less fornication helmet. Why not? Why not have a K-less fornication helmet? I mean, when Cleon's party, they party, and if they have a Mahajaran on a Ryza, look, the Cleon's party way better than people on Ryza, depending on how you want to party. But of course, they will have a fornication helmet. That was awesome. That was funny. So when as the episode goes on, I'm not gonna tell you what happens as far as why this happened, but a trap was tripped, and the first thing I thought of from that whole little setup to of that trap being tripped was it reminded me of the episode in Deep Space Nine where uh, I think O'Brien was trying to integrate Federation software into Cardassian software and eliminating Cardassian software. But long story short, it tripped off a dormant security program in Deep Space Nine's computer that made an image of Gul Dukat appear and basically be like, "Yo, this is going to escalate to more severity until you guys turn over control of the station." He kind of reminded me of that. I don't know if that was what they was going for, but that was the feeling that I had got. Now, look. I watch everything that has to do with sci-fi, horror. Matter of fact, horror is my second favorite genre. And I don't know if you guys remember a movie called The Mangler. It starred Robert Englund, the guy, yeah, Freddy Krueger himself. And it came out in the early '90s, mid '90s, or something like that. But basically, it was this machine that it was like a big press machine or something like that, and it sucked people in and ate them inside of it. But it was a real stupid movie, but it was called The Mangler, right? And I was wondering, why would a Mangler machine be on a collector station? And then I was like, oh, it was only one Mangler. He's a collector. Okay, that makes sense. So I thought that was funny. I don't know if that was what they was going for, but that was funny. So they recreated the original series. What was the name of that episode? Basically, in the original series, these these Kelvians, what they decided to do was to test good and evil by uh, kidnapping Kirk and Spock and recreating Abraham Lincoln and a Klingon warrior. I mean, what was his name? Kahless. They recreated Savick. No, not Sarek. Sarek. Anyway, this Vulcan leader, this real the Vulcan guy responsible for bringing logic to the Vulcans, but basically they recreated that to have them all fight against each other, and the winner was supposed to teach the Kelvians which one is stronger, good and evil. But to think that this collector went to the Kelvian planet, found Abraham Lincoln's bones and the rock casings of a Kelvian, and brought them up and put them on display. That was cool. So uh, now I don't know if you guys remember me talking in the last video about how the writers and producers of Star Trek, these new iterations of Star Trek, must not watch the videos. And like I said, definitely not these videos, but they must not watch the videos of the fans talking about the decline of Star Trek and the dumbing down of Star Trek. Hell, I think I got a video about the dumbing down of Star Trek. But one of the things that really just brought this episode out to me and just really just put it over the tip for me was the speech that Lieutenant Bomer gave when the away team was getting surrounded by the Packlets and they were in the engineering room. The speech that he gave about, hey, I joined Starfleet not for all the explosions. That's not what all this is about. It's about the friendships. It's about the connections. It's about meeting new people. It's about boldly going. And for him to acknowledge that and for them to write that into the story. And not only that, for the away team to acknowledge, yeah, that's, these things, they happen and they're cool sometimes, but that's not the basis of what Star Trek is. That's not the heart of Star Trek. That right there that just stole the show for me right there. That stole the show for me. And speaking of the away team from the Titan, can we all agree that Lieutenant Kano was awesome? Lieutenant Kano from the away team. That's the only person I thought of every time he spoke. I was like, oh man, Kano enjoying Starfleet. So speaking of the Titan, it was cool that Riker got to come back. Well, Captain Riker got to come back and join the Lower Decks universe once again. Jonathan Frakes did the voiceover for it, and the little, I guess, arc that's going on over there is that basically Boimer, he ends up getting split. And before then, they addressed the fact that something like that has happened to Commander Riker when it split him into two. And they later explored his clone, which took on the name Thomas Riker, in an episode of Deep Space Nine, which was really good as well. So Boimer, of course, ends up getting split, and it's a nice Star Trek way of bringing Boimer back to the Cerritos and keeping Boimer on the Titan. Okay, so they can have two stories from Boimer's point of view and everything like that, and keep it in canon with things that's happened in Star Trek before. So let me see what else. He gonna call himself William Boimer. That's funny. So they had a few things where Commander Riker acknowledged his jazz background, and where he was like, "Yeah, let's go factor 5, 6, 5, 6." That was, one of his things. But I don't know if you guys noticed when at the end he said, "Hey, computer, play Nightbird." That was from an episode, 2 episodes basically. All right, from the episode 11001001. Okay, when he was on the holodeck, and it was also a song that Counselor Troy knew he wasn't supposed to be able to play correctly, and he's always been trying to be able to play correctly on his trombone. So that was nice how they put that in there. So I don't want to give too much more away, but I just wanted to say that this episode was great. This was a fantastic episode, and I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. I highly recommend this episode. There's so many Easter eggs in this episode. There's so many homages to to things in Trek canon in this episode. It was done so well that I have to and I'm sorry I couldn't find my Starfleet shirt to convey just how well I like this episode. So once again, that was episode K Shine, His Eyes Open, season 2, episode 2 of Star Trek Lower Decks. What did you guys think of it? Was there any Easter eggs that I missed or that you guys wanted to add? And I know there are some that I missed. I could have talked about the Dyson's vacuum cleaners and how they suck you to death. I don't know how that got past. I don't know how that got past filtering right there. Standards right there. I don't know how that. I have no idea how that made it past standards because I went somewhere totally different, and I'm pretty sure a few of you guys went somewhere totally different when they said they was gonna get sucked to death. Maybe that was just me. But anyway, what else was in the episode that you guys thought was great? Did you guys think the episode was great or still Star Trek Lower Decks need work? But thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. And as always, peace, recycle, and save the whales. You guys be cool.